Welcome, champions, to the next overview and tier list ranking on any new or reworked champion for the current event active for idle champions. This is where we'll break down their mechanics and place them in my overall tier list for every champion in the game. And that quick little snappy reminder that I stream on Twitch, and I'll be covering the champion we talk about in this video today live on Twitch when I release this video, so stop in and say hi. So we've already covered the new champion to this event, Tess, so that leaves us with the reworked champion K'thriss, the chaotic neutral drow warlock in Seat 1, who serves the group as a support, control, and gold find champion, who, let's admit, was in dire need of a rework. To start with, his base attack is magical and will damage a random enemy. His ultimate, Tentacular Spectacular, will have K'thriss summon a horde of tentacles across the battlefield that deal damage to all enemies. Now, his ultimate is important beyond just that, so keep that in mind for his formation abilities. Speaking of his formation abilities, let's dive in. His bread and butter is still Unseen Encouragement, but it has been changed. It will now natively increase the damage of all non-adjacent champions instead of the furthest away, then requiring a specialization choice. But now it also stacks multiplicatively and pre-stackatively for every champion it is affecting. So make sure he is hitting as many champions as possible with this ability while you have him slotted. Horde's person will still collect that unique coin of his, but now it will drop 1 coin per enemy killed, 3 coins per bosses killed, and will increase the effect of Unseen Encouragement and your party's gold find by 1% for each coin he has collected on the current adventure, stacking additively. Now, since this is an additive stack, it will taper very hard at a certain point, and it doesn't persist either, it's just in the current adventure. So to build this up, you will have to do it every single time, but it really doesn't take that much to get going as long as you have some good enemy spawn speed and are able to kill quickly. You can even do this at lower levels of the run so you're able to one-hit kill everything. Now, to note about the gold find, while this sounds low, once you've stacked it up a little bit and have some item level behind its equipment, he's going to be a decent gold find champion, and in fact will likely replace Merylwyn in a dirty/Makos Bomb gold find scenario. Next up, he has Shadow Demon, where this is the ability that actually unlocks his ultimate, but also interacts with it. When K'thriss uses his ultimate ability, he summons a Shadow Demon that hovers behind him for 30 seconds. For this duration, the Shadow Demon has various effects based on how many coins K'thriss has gathered since the last time his ultimate was used. The base effect without any coins will increase Unseen Encouragement by 100%. At 10 coins, the base effect will be increased by 400%. At 50 coins, all enemies will be slowed by 50%. At 100, all champions deal 3 seconds of bud damage for the duration. At 250, base effect and bud damage is increased by 200%. And then at 1000, the base effect and the bud damage will be 400%. So you do want to think about when you're using his ultimate. And he does have a feat that you can earn through event rewards that will stop roaming familiars from activating his ultimate ability, so you can save it and use it when you want to. Lastly, he has Efficient Bookkeeping, where for each order of magnitude of gold spent leveling up champions, he will increase the effect of Unseen Encouragement by 15%, stacking multiplicatively. This will highly depend on how far in the game you are and what gold caps you can reach, but this has the potential to stack up quite well. Now let's talk about his specializations. First off, he has Velvet Touch, where the effect of Unseen Encouragement is increased for each slot away from K'thriss the affected champion is. Then he has Legati's Minions, where the effect of Unseen Encouragement and Gold Find bonus of Horde's person are increased for each C-Team, Acquisitions Incorporated, or Waffle Crew champion in the formation. This is important to note because if you're going Gold Find, even if he's the only one in the formation out of that restriction, it is the only specialization choice that will increase his Gold Find. Then he has the Unknowable The effect of Unseen Encouragement will be increased by a larger amount, but this amount is reduced for each enemy defeated in the current area. So essentially, take the first if you want a more sustainable buff, the second if you're going gold, And the third, if you want a more potent upfront buff, that will dwindle down. If you're looking for Velvet Touch to be roughly the equivalent of the Unknowable Ur's base effect, you need to be at least 4 slots away from Cthulhu with the receiving champion. Though if you're just rocking an Ak Inc formation, you'll just take the second anyway. On to his equipment and feats, where his equipment is pretty good. As we've established, Unseen Encouragement is a pre-stack, though he does not have any all damage he offers through his equipment. The first is for Shadow Demon, the second for Efficient Bookkeeping, the third for Hordes Person, the fourth for Cthulhu's Unseen Encouragement, which is the pre-stack, the fifth for his Specializations, and lastly, Ultimate Attack Cooldown. Cthulhu has some interesting feats, a lot of basic ones, and of course keep your eye open for anything Unseen Encouragement, as that is the pre-stack. But he does have multiple ability score increasing feats which are important for his availability. Unfortunately, one of them is tied behind the, and I correct myself for Tess as well here, Tier 4 reward from Event Rewards, the Roaming Familiar Prevention, which is from the Tier 3 rewards, and then one that is exclusively in the shop for 90 days. Until then, it will be available with gems. That will increase the damage of all champions, and sets Cthulhu's gender to non-binary, and sets Cthulhu's age to 80, allowing him to interact with those mechanics in different ways. One highlight is Rosie, the DPS in his own affiliation, who stacks up her pre-stack for people who are younger than her, and this will in fact make Cthulhu younger than her, where he is actually older than her otherwise. Now we just need one of those for Vi. Oh, why must CNE torment me with DPS champions that don't interact well with their own affiliations? Anyway, let's take a look at his achievement and adventure variants. I don't believe his achievement changed. It will require you to defeat 10,000 enemies with his ultimate Tentacular Spectacular, and his variants overall should not be an issue. The first having Cthulhu start in the formation, unable to be moved or removed, and Cthulhu's Unseen Servant Velvet joins the formation. Only champions not next to Cthulhu can deal damage, which you want anyway, so whoop-de-doo. The second will have a Drow cultist empowered by the sign of appear in every area. When killed, the cultist drops a tetrathanotic glyph, which increases the damage of champions with an int score of 13 plus by 5%. Those not intelligent enough to understand the book lose 5% of their damage. These buffs stack and remain in effect until the adventure is complete, but there is no restriction on who you can use, or that you even need Cthulhu in the formation, just like in his third variant, where the Devourer now appears as an additional boss at Area 25, in addition to its normal role as the Area 50 boss. As if that wasn't scary enough, the Devourer now takes 8 seconds to devour a champion, down from 10. Overall, this shouldn't be an issue unless you're walling on that boss and you're just barely not able to push past it. Now, what about any changes to his availability? Cthulhu wasn't exactly the most available champion before, and that has increased with the addition of the feat that increases his constitution score by 2. But again, that is locked behind the Tier 4 reward. But if we take that and his strength plus 2 into consideration, that will make him available for every Day 1 Trials restriction, and only locked out of the Mert Patron because he will always be neutral. But with the rework and ability score modifying feats, he is available for every other patron. He is definitely climbing up on the tier list, as he now has a pre-stack ability that is buffed by other means to make it a good pre-stack ability buff. Easy to slot, the buff is positional. He now has a place in Gold Find formation teams, and overall his availability is decent, only -1 patron if you can earn everything. Having that good of availability with that good of a buff while buffing gold, we're gonna throw him in the A+. Thanks for dropping in and checking out this rework with me. Be sure to hit that like, sub, and bell. Check me out on Twitch where we just goof around and have some fun. Or the Tyredack community Discord, all of the applicable links down in the description. And as always, the most important thing, have a hell of a time out there, champion.